Forget everything you think you know about gaming. Close your eyes and imagine another world. Not some pixelated dream, but a reality so vivid and so alive that you'll forget where the screen ends and your heartbeat begins. This is VR. This is the cutting edge. We're talking pulse-pounding action, heart-stopping horror, and mind-bending puzzles that will melt your expectations. We're talking about soaring through impossible skies, scaling treacherous mountains, and facing your deepest fears head-on. On number 11, we will discuss Unplugged Air Guitar. Another way's Unplugged Air Guitar is a very creative and fun music game that we think is essential to play in VR. It came out in 2021 and uses Quest's hand tracking to give you a Guitar Hero-like experience that you can control. Hand tracking technology is now stable enough that an experience like Unplugged is fully enjoyable, but there may still be the odd glitch now and then. Still, Unplugged has great production value and a great set list of classic rock songs. It offers totally unique experiences, previously thought unimaginable. You can also use controllers to play it on PC VR and PSVR 2, but if you already have a Quest headset, we don't suggest you try it that way. On number 10, we have a Fisherman's Tail. A Fisherman's Tail, a puzzle game from Innerspace VR, came out in 2019 and is unlike any other game. Inventive, platform-driven gameplay, medium-rooted narrative, and arresting immersion make it what it is, and you work with yourself to solve complicated, scale-based tasks. The best puzzles use a small model of the lighthouse where the game takes place. If you lift the model's roof, you'll see a tiny version of yourself moving just like you. A short, sharp VR game with a touching story about accepting yourself is all you get. It stays with you longer than most epics that last hours. On number 9 on our list is Onward. When it comes to VR games, there's something for everyone, from Pavlov's crazy Counter-Strike style action to Population. One's crazy Fortnite style action. But we still think that Onward is the best because it is based on reality. Downpour Interactive's Onward on Quest was definitely going to make a lot of Quest users happy when it came out in 2020 on that platform. When playing without a wire, the wire-free gameplay really shines, letting you try new moves like going prone more easily. Onward can be hard to understand at first, but it's very satisfying once you do. On number 8 comes Blood and Truth. The PlayStation VR World's minigame London Heist is still one of the best and most interesting story-driven VR games out there. It started out as a short story about some thieves, but in 2019, Sony London turned it into a fully fledged narrative that features some of the best performances we've seen in VR yet. In Blood and Truth, each level has its own set of behaviors and rules to learn. The story is a bit cheesy, but the characters are the best I've ever seen, and the set pieces are often as beautiful as those in Uncharted. Blood and Truth is a very significant VR game, so be careful not to let the Guy Ritchie voices fool you. On number 7, we will discuss Iron Man VR. Iron Man VR was first available on PSVR in 2020. 2 years later, it was added to Quest 2. The solo port, which was made by Camouflage and Endeavor One, has a lot of changes, like loading times that are very short, which makes it a recommended experience. As Tony Stark says, Iron Man VR captures the essence of the character in the same way that Insomniac and Rocksteady have done on flat-screen platforms with Spider-Man and Batman. Strong fighting and enjoyable movement support Quest 2's fantastic story-driven game. On number 6, we have 11 Table Tennis. 11 Table Tennis from For Fun Labs is without a doubt the most realistic and real VR version of a sport available right now. This simulation-level game came out on Steam in 2016 and has been getting updates all the time since then. 11's physics work just like they would in real life, whether you're hitting hard balls or getting desperate returns. Tapping the ball with your controller starts to feel as natural as using a paddle. 11 is more than just a great game, it's one of the few VR experiences that really feels like a replacement for the real world. It really is one of the best VR games. On number 5 is Blade and Sorcery. Blade and Sorcery from Warfrog is not the game for you if you don't like violent VR games. Blade and Sorcery. Gnomon came out in 2018 and is a bloody mess of stabbing, slicing, and sparking. In our review of it for Quest, we called it a messy, lethal playground with endlessly entertaining results that you simply couldn't get outside of VR. Its open, physics-based fighting gives your character real weight, making every hit feel real. There's still a long way to go for Blade and Sorcery, but the fact that it supports so many mods makes it a fan's dream and one of the best VR games you can buy. On number 4, we will discuss Skyrim VR. It's no surprise that The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR from Bethesda is Skyrim in VR. The official release date for this remake of the famous fantasy RPG is 2018, and it has some annoying quirks. There are many ways that we think Skyrim VR is the ultimate version of one of the greatest RPGs of all time. It lets you explore Tamriel like never before. Skyrim VR is the most adventure-friendly game we've made so far. It has hundreds of hours of content, complete freedom to make any character you want, and a huge world to explore. With mod support on PC, this is a never-ending source of great fan-made material that lets you play as completely different characters or play games that are just as good as the original. Skyrim VR is still one of the best VR games and is hard to beat. On number 3, we have Lone Echo. With its high production values and winning blend of intuitive movement, discovery-based gameplay, and character-driven storytelling, 2017's Lone Echo tells an interesting story through zero-gravity travel and careful character exchanges. The game also inspired a separate multiplayer game called Echo VR, which was one of the most fun and unique multiplayer experiences in VR right away. But Echo VR and its $10 Echo Combat add-on will no longer be available after August 2023. The single-player Lone Echo experience and its follow-up, Lone Echo 2, have not been changed. Lone Echo is still one of the best VR games out there and will stay on this list. On number 2, we will talk about No Man's Sky VR. The idea behind Hello Games' No Man's Sky is very big, but it pays off. Because it uses randomly produced worlds, endless oceans of space, and multiplayer, it gives you a sense of scale that's really hard to match in VR, and an essentially endless, infinite universe to explore. Hello Games worked very hard on this VR update, and they kept adding to it with new patches. There are many beautiful sounds and sights, but you also have to fight against a pretty tough life loop and resource gathering grind. If that sounds good to you, No Man's Sky is a good choice. It's not as good on PSVR as it was on PC and PSVR 2, but it's still one of the best VR games. On number 1, we have Walkabout Mini Golf. Look no further than Walkabout Mini Golf if you want to see that mini golf works well in VR. When Walkabout came out in 2020, it was meant to be a true representation of mini golf, but it also went far beyond what is physically possible with the game in real life. There are new tracks added every couple of months, and there is a lot of support for group play. A room code lets you find other VR players on any platform, and a guest pass lets you share access to DLC courses like Myst, Upside Down, and Atlantis. You have to find the secret balls on each hole, and you can play more difficultly in the night game. The most interested Walkabout players will even go on fox hunt puzzles that take them across places next to the course, like the full-size labyrinth based on the Jim Henson movie or the huge Sahara Desert that surrounds Temple at Zerzura. There's a lot to discover, and the physics behind it are probably better than the real thing. For example, there are no small bumps on the ground like you'll find on real mini golf fields. We hope you enjoyed discovering these immersive experiences as much as we did. If you found a new favorite or have any other VR gems to share, let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more gaming content, and remember to ring the notification bell to stay updated.